मुझे ये वीडियो शुरू करना है एक सिंपल क्वेश्चन के साथ। What is the most expensive thing you own? I will give you a hint. The answer isn't your house or your car or your laptop or the phone on which you are watching this video right now. ये आसान सवाल का जवाब ये कंपनीज के हिसाब से है attention. Attention is the most expensive thing we own and there is some truth to that. 2025 के स्टार्ट में मैंने एक गोल सेट किया था to finish reading all of these books that I bought in a surge of motivation. And here is how many I've managed so far. क्योंकि मेरे बुक पढ़ने का एक्सपीरियंस कुछ ऐसा दिखता है। These guys don't like the idea of you doing anything else apart from using them. They want your attention how you wanted it from your school's crush, but unlike you, they get it. A lot. आपको लग रहा होगा कि ये गेमिंग यूट्यूबर अटेंशन स्पैन और सोशल मीडिया के बारे में क्यों बात कर रहा है, इसे क्या पता होगा? Well, if there is one thing that video games offer, it is an escape from reality while keeping you entertained and hooked into its beautiful, perfect world. And I can very well use the same description for social media as well. लेकिन फर्क सिर्फ इतना है, Red Dead खेलते वक्त you won't feel insecure and miserable all the time. So my goal for this video is simple, trying to understand these guys over here and our declining attention span. क्योंकि अगर मुझे इस प्रॉब्लम का कोई सोल्यूशन नहीं मिलेगा तो मैं बुक पढ़ने की जगह कैट, डॉग, फूड, व्लॉग, लाइफस्टाइल, पॉडकास्ट, कंटेंट कंज्यूम करते करते मेरा दिमाग खराब हो जाएगा।
I'm very broke. Hey, what are you listening to?
मैंने ये हमेशा कहा है, आपको आपके YouTube, X या Instagram के एल्गोरिदम से अच्छा कोई नहीं जानता। They know you better than your lover, your friends or your parents because after all, you are the product. The longer the product stays on their platform, the more money they make. And the only way to make you stay, well, that's very obvious, to grab and hold your attention. Like even right now, just by making the decision to watch this video on YouTube, people in X and Instagram के headquarters are losing their minds. अब आपको लगेगा लेकिन आर्यन ये तो अच्छी बात है ना, अगर all of these platforms are competing against each other to get my attention, that means I will get better content. Well, the answer isn't usually that simple. All of these companies are playing a game of musical chairs. और आप जब भी अपना phone switch on करते हो, the music stops. And whichever app is lucky enough to get the chair will try to hold on to it with their dear life. And one of the most well-known ways to hold your attention is essentially annihilating you with content. These apps hate the idea of boredom or a person questioning, मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ अपने टाइम के साथ? They want every second of your life. X does it with posts which are mostly rage bait. Instagram does it with reels. YouTube does it with shorts and it's incredible recommendation system. भाई busy है क्या? हाँ भाई, बुक पढ़ने की कोशिश does not really matter. I have found this amazing 17-year-old cat video. Do you want to see it? No, but it has 63 million views on it. I don't really recommend stuff like this easily. अरे नहीं देखना भाई. अरे लेकिन बहुत अच्छा वीडियो है. नहीं, please. No. Yes. No. Yes. No. Yes. No. Yes. अरे ये तो सही में अच्छा वीडियो है. और है क्या? This is why the title of the chapter said attention spam. If you were really paying attention. You are being spammed with content all the time. And I really want to talk about my favorite. Actually, our favorite type of content. The type of content that you probably have consumed thousands of in this month itself. Vertical videos. भले वो reels हो या shorts हो या जो भी Twitter बोलता है उसे, मुझे नहीं मालूम. This format is the biggest contributor to the idea that our attention span has decreased. But I do not necessarily believe it to be true. अगर आप कभी ध्यान से देखोगे, short form content इंटरनेट पे बहुत सालों से रहा है. Earlier in the form of Vine.
Oh fuck, I can't believe you've done this.
जिसके थ्रू बहुत सारे क्रिएटर्स को अपनी स्टार्ट मिली थी. उसके बाद Musical.ly came into the picture, which was later consumed by its superior and better version, TikTok. It perfected everything Vine and Musical.ly couldn't. शॉर्ट फॉर्म कंटेंट कंज्यूम करना बहुत आसान है क्योंकि यूजर को अपने एंड से ज्यादा एफर्ट नहीं डालना पड़ता. इट इज इफ यू रियली लुक एट इट द वे हाउ केबल टीवी यूज्ड टू वर्क, टाटा स्काई, एयरटेल, वो सब. लेकिन सिर्फ फर्क इतना है कि अब आपके टाटा स्काई के सेटअप बॉक्स में वो बेकार गेम्स के अलावा देयर इज अ स्मार्ट एआई एज वेल. An AI which understands exactly what you like, and every time you switch a channel, something worth your while is shown. TikTok managed to remove the browsing the channels period till you find something worth watching with a single hand gesture. Honestly, if you really look at it, it's a brilliant Magnus Carlsen level chess move. Unfortunately, we are the ones who got checkmated. I don't need to play those Subway Surfers or ASMR clips to hold your attention. At least I hope. It's not as much of an attention problem as much it is a distraction problem. मुझे पता है अभी भी कितने सारे लोग रील स्क्रॉल कर रहे होंगे while this video is playing. I am put on in the background as white noise. Hey, focus! Let me be your center of attention. I'm really insecure about it. If an activity requires focus and constant attention, most of the people are able to do that. और इसका सबसे best example है movies, जो एकदम opposite है shorts के. Movies have been getting longer in the past few years. 2023 की best movie was a dude building a bomb and a bunch of people talking about said bomb. And this went on for 3 hours. वो भी जिसका climax सबको पता था. Even the most well-performing movies at the box office in the last 2 years both had a runtime of more than 2 hours 30 minutes. So the idea of attention is actually activity driven. What I lack is the ability to focus on one thing. Reading a book requires undeviated attention and more often than not doesn't offer the instant dopamine and gratification of getting to an end of something like how a reel or a short does. I think जब लोग declining attention span के बारे में बात करते हैं, it really boils down to 2 factors, focus and habits. For example, if you are someone who enjoys the high octane pace of online competitive games, yeah, playing Red Dead or Stardew Valley will feel really slow because it is meant to be played that way. Very much like reading a book. To enjoy them, being slow and taking in everything the book has to offer is essential. हाँ, मैं ये मानता हूँ रील्स ने हमारे अटेंशन स्पैन को नेगेटिवली इम्पैक्ट ज़रूर किया है, बट इट्स नॉट एज बैड एज द इंटरनेट वांट्स यू टू बिलीव इट. How I look at it is, it's a question of priority. Who would you like to give your life's precious hours to? To the guy who still to this day is known as one of the best writers? Or to some 16-year-old kid running meme accounts because he was led to believe that this was the way he will be able to buy the Mercedes that he dreams of? And the right answer practically stares you in your face. But you know what people say, action speaks louder than words. I think finding balance between doing the both activities is necessary, something which I clearly fail in. इंटरनेट पे अब इतना सारा कंटेंट आ चुका है कि अब आप सब तो कंज्यूम कर नहीं सकते. देयर आर मोर देन 500 hours worth of videos uploaded on YouTube every single minute. I don't even know what crazy numbers Instagram must be operating on. इसकी वजह यह है कि अब कंटेंट बनाना बहुत आसान हो गया है. And 90% of the content that is made every minute, well, it's trash. So humans are now more pickier than ever before. और इसका सबसे बेस्ट एग्जाम्पल है जब आप OTTs जैसे नेटफ्लिक्स हो गया, हॉटस्टार हो गया या Amazon हो गया स्क्रॉल करते रहते हो टू फाइंड समथिंग वर्थ वॉचिंग. एंड ऑनेस्टली एज अ क्रिएटिव आई लव इट मैन. I love the challenge of making something genuinely good in this vast sea of content that we find ourselves drowning in. क्योंकि हाँ, content बनाना आसान हो गया है, लेकिन अच्छा content बनाना वो बहुत मुश्किल है. Making good content, something with which people can connect to, and to me, that is what matters the most, which is becoming increasingly rare day by day in this virtual world. Most of the content that you see has these retention hacks and tricks. अब मैं admit करता हूँ, मैं भी कर चुका हूँ बहुत. I did it for this video as well. Don't worry, I am aware of the irony. You know, भर के sound effects डालो, transition डालो, subtitles पे fading effect डालो, explosion डालो. And I know the man who started all of this. And I mean, it's not really his fault that people on the internet copy each other. The guy who makes those highly edited reels believes that using these hacks is the only way to hold your attention. Because after all the reels are made by humans. And if there is one thing that is common in all of us, is that we are susceptible to groupthink.
अच्छा आर्यन, वैसे ये तुम्हारी बात पूरी सही नहीं है.
हाँ? कौन सी बात?
सारे रील्स या शॉर्ट कंटेंट इंसान बनाता है, ये बात पूरी सही नहीं है.
क्यों भाई? तुम लोगों ने क्या बना लिया?
अगर मैं तुम्हें दिखा दूं तो तुम बेहतर समझ सकते हो.
Today, we're announcing the Sora app, powered by the all-new Sora 2. It's the most powerful imagination engine ever built.
Please welcome to the stage AI Slop Talk, Sora 2. I don't know if I should be impressed or afraid of this, that now there is a specifically designed app for AI slop content. And if OpenAI makes Sora free and my parents download it, it's over. लेकिन in a good way, क्योंकि मैं मानता हूँ लोगों के अंदर एक saturation point आएगा with this AI slop and highly retentive content that what the fuck am I watching? And then people will start seeking meaningful and worth their while content to watch. Unfortunately, my channel won't make the cut, but I do believe this change is coming. The internet has a way of repeating its history. You already see this trend on the rise on YouTube. So that highly edited content with explosion, VFX, neon subtitles, amazing transitions, I am tired of it and so will others very soon. आई नो अब बहुत सारे वीडियो एडिटर्स मेरे पे भड़क रहे होंगे कि धंधा बंद करवा रहा है, खुद तो कुछ आता नहीं, फालतू का ज्ञान बांटे जा रहा है. वेल माई इजी ईज इन एंड इजी ईज आउट फ्रेंड, लेट मी प्रूव यू रॉन्ग विद दिस कूल चैप्टर ट्रांस. I have basically grown up with the internet. I was privileged enough to have unrestricted access to the internet since I was 10 or 11. मैं chronically online हूँ 2011 से. And I have experienced the whole range of content that internet has to offer. From gaming videos on YouTube to execution videos on Reddit. जब 13 साल का था तब देखा था and till this day I can't forget the horror of watching that video. But still, nothing scares me more than social media. और मैं अपना fear एक बहुत अच्छे example के साथ explain कर सकता हूँ. Takeshi's Castle. बचपन में ये मेरा favorite show था जो पोगो पे आता था. Yes, I never really cared for Oswald, that blue octopus dumbass and his stupid dog. Takeshi's Castle में मजा आता था with absolute legend of a man commentating over it to make the show special. You see, there is a stage in the show called the Honeycomb Maze. The contestant entering the maze had to clear the maze to avoid getting eliminated. And well, using these apps is a lot like going through this maze.
और एक बेटे के सामने उसके बाप से कह दिया गया कि जा डूब.
लेकिन केवल एक प्रॉब्लम है या एक डिफरेंस है, ये मेज कभी खत्म नहीं होगी. It is ever changing, so you can never really win. And the most messed up thing is when you run into other people in the maze and you realize that these people are enjoying their time in the maze. So that makes you feel like, hey, am I the crazy one? And you know what? Hypothetically, let's say you have that main character, hum jeet gaye wala moment, and you come out of the maze. And then what eventually happens is that you start missing the maze. The excitement of not knowing what's behind each door, the company of your friends who are still in it, the two beautiful people in the maze who you can never talk to. So you finally cave in, क्योंकि FOMO is a real thing, and you go back in again. And then the cycle keeps repeating itself. कभी आप मेज से बाहर आते हो, कभी आपके दोस्त मेज से बाहर आते हैं, लेकिन एक चीज हमेशा सेम रहेगी, the coming back. Now that is a great horror movie plot, right up there with Creature 3D. But the only difference would be that this movie would be based on real events, our life events. So the real question is, why not just walk away from the maze? Well, उसका जवाब तो बहुत simple है. You see, we humans, we are social beings. We love to move in tribes, close to each other, moving forward, hating the idea of being the one left out or isolated. Feeling like an outcast is the last thing people want. So while you are reinstalling Instagram for the 9th time this year after saying कि मैं ये ऐप तो कभी फिर से इंस्टॉल नहीं करूँगा, you can't help but become Al Pacino in Godfather Part 3.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
I have been off Instagram for little more than 2 years and I have always gaslit myself into believing कि मैंने वो insecurity की वजह से नहीं किया था, but deep down, I know that's why I uninstalled Instagram or left Instagram. I just couldn't handle the idea of looking at other people's perfect lives while mine seemed to be crashing and burning. Your insecurities can often hold you a prisoner, making you a spectator in your own life. ऐसा लगता है कि दूसरे लोग ऑलरेडी पेज पे पहुंच के सेंचुरी स्कोर कर चुके हैं और मैं अभी तक अपना बैट ही नहीं ढूंढ पा रहा. I mean, being off Instagram comes at its own steep price. I feel jaded and left out of the pop culture that app seems to generate. I risk looking like a dumbass in front of my friends and I can't help but recreate the Cillian Murphy meme. FOMO is the monster hiding in the woods and my Geralt's silver sword is broken with no potions at hand. वाह आर्यन, क्या ग्रेट एनालॉजी है. थैंक यू. मेरे पास अभी एक और है और वो मेरी पर्सनल फेवरेट है. वी ऑल लव सुपर हीरोज. वी लव व्हाट दे रिप्रेजेंट, द बेस्ट ऑफ व्हाट ह्यूमैनिटी हैज टू ऑफर. दे आर 2 times better than us. They fly, swing, are super strong, extremely hot, they fight bad guys, save people, save the fucking planet. लेकिन फिर भी इतने skills होने के बावजूद you see them struggling, having difficult moments, which helps us connect to them and love them, which helps you feel that you are a hero too. You can overcome your challenges as well. But when it comes to social media, the virtual world, the place where we humans can come the closest to attaining the feeling of being super, we almost, I know I certainly did, we halve ourselves, only showing the perfect, the best, look I have a life moment. While the truth of the matter is, nobody's life is perfect. Life sucks 80% of the times. People on social media love to showcase the remaining 20% of their lives. The happy times, as if their 80% of themselves does not exist. बस सोचो, अगर आप कभी कोई ऐसे इंसान से मिले जिसकी पूरी पर्सनालिटी इज जस्ट दैट 20%, यू नो, हमेशा खुश, परफेक्ट लुकिंग, परफेक्ट लाइफ, नो डाउन मोमेंट्स इन हिज लाइफ, आप ऐसे इंसान को देख के बोलोगे इस इंसान में कुछ तो प्रॉब्लम है. यू नेचुरली रिकॉइल फ्रॉम अ पर्सन लाइक दैट. बट एट द सेम टाइम व्हेन वी सी दिस सेम पर्सन ऑन सोशल मीडिया, man, do they mess us up. Based on the half image that we see of others, we compare our whole image. And of course, जो image आप अपनी देखते हो, it's not really great, is it? I wish we celebrated failures as much as we celebrate our wins. What a beautiful social media app that would be. I would gladly have a screen time of 6 hours on an app like that. Because after all, these apps were meant to express ourselves, bring us closer to each other, foster our bonds. So जब कोई अपने failures या disappointment share करता है, I like that person. I really want to talk to that guy. The guy who isn't afraid to show his 80%. And you know, when he does finally have the 20% moments, that 20% moment does not only have a positive impact on his life, but on my life as well. I hope I'm making sense. I really don't know. The whole idea of us needing an app called Be Real to be genuine feels hilarious. This app feels like it's straight out of an AIB sketch. This app's existence perfectly encapsulates what is wrong with social media. We all have things we are insecure about. I know I most certainly am about my work and how I physically look, but that does not stop me from putting myself out there. Doing this, ये करना, ये मेरा एक्सट्रीम स्पोर्ट है. आई लाइक इट हाउ पीपल लाइक स्काई डाइविंग और फ्री सोलोइंग. इतने सालों तक कंटेंट बनाने के बाद भी माई बिगेस्ट इनसिक्योरिटीज एंड फाइट्स आर विद माई ओन नर्वस सिस्टम. ओ व्हाट इफ पीपल डोंट लाइक दिस वीडियो, व्हाट इफ दे स्टार्ट मेकिंग फन ऑफ व्हाट आई डू, व्हाट इफ दे मेक फन ऑफ हाउ आई लुक, जो लोग ऑलरेडी करते हैं. लेकिन ये सारे सवाल मुझे रोकते नहीं प्लेन से कूदने से. There is a great dialogue in a movie that I like to pretend I understood. Worst person in the world. I wasted so much time worrying about what could go wrong, but what did go wrong was never the things I was worried about. I don't know why people love the idea of perfection. Nobody is perfect. We all are a little suspect of our own talent, and it's perfectly natural to have anxiety regarding it. Chasing perfection in a project has always resulted in me thinking, अरे वीडियो का ये पार्ट बेहतर हो सकता था, ये पार्ट में मज़ा नहीं आया, यहाँ मैं अच्छा कर सकता था, rather than just being happy that I was able to execute my creative vision. And I know मुझे ये वीडियो के साथ भी पक्का होने वाला है. That is why I've started to make stuff for the idea of it, not to perfect it. मुझे पता है जो लोग मेरा चैनल रेगुलरली देखते हैं वो पक्का सोच रहे होंगे कि आर्यन ने ये वीडियो कहाँ से बना दिया. वेल, दिस वीडियो इज मी शोकेसिंग माई 80% टू यू गाइज. Asking a generation that has grown up in and around these apps, essentially with the internet, oh, just don't care what people online say. That is easier said than done. Just because you don't understand the problem does not make it not real. Is it really our fault that an entire generation grew up using these apps? Apps whose sole purpose was and still is to capitalize on every second of our lives so that they can earn more money? So am I really surprised that people are now starting to uninstall and getting off of these apps? No, not really, because nothing ever really comes for free in this economy. Maybe the whole world being at your fingertips might not have been a blessing. Sensationalism is the new currency, while accuracy and soul loses its value. Chasing likes and numbers to feel validated at the expense of others is the way to move forward. Reward the ones who play the game. Oh, 1 of 10 video, great work. 10 of 10 video, don't ever try that shit again, and we will make sure you know it. Here you go, take some more money and content. Go on, continue to burn yourself. We'll watch as we go from $1 billion company to $1 trillion company. Because make a product that is healthy for humans? पागल हो गए हो क्या? And listen, man, if you think I have a solution to these problems, I don't. It's really is a victim talking to another victim, letting you know that, hey man, you're not the only one going through this. We're all in this ship together. The ship called Titanic. सोल्यूशन के लिए मैं फालतू में कह सकता हूँ गाइस अभी इंस्टाग्राम अनइंस्टॉल करो और कमेंट करो कि हाँ मैंने रील देखना छोड़ दिया, अब मैं अपनी लाइफ फिर से ले लूँगा अपने पास. बट दैट रियली डज नॉट सॉल्व एनीथिंग. दैट्स लाइक मी आस्किंग अ ड्रग एडिक्ट, ओ एडिक्शन क्विट करना है, बस अपने सप्लायर का नंबर डिलीट कर दो. सिंपल. इट रियली डज नॉट वर्क लाइक दैट. I personally believe the answer lies in genuineness, using the attention that we give to these apps the right way. A way to express the 80% of ourselves, being the superhero, not even to the strangers on the internet, but the people you care for. Because maybe, just maybe, the goal was never really to escape the maze, but have fun while navigating it. और रही बात मेरे बुक पढ़ने की गोल की, there are still a couple of weeks left before 2025 ends, and all I can do is try to focus.